Everyone knows the importance of healthy eating, yet many of us still buy unhealthy foods. So here to help us break out of the shopping rut is Family Circle Food Director and Registered Dietitian Regina Ragone. Thanks so much for joining us, Regina.
Thank you so much. And really, you do have to take control of your shopping, because if you don't have the food in the house, you're not going to be able to prepare healthy meals or snacks.
It all starts there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And so how important is it to have an idea of our menu before we head out to the supermarket?
Well, you really need a menu. You know, this year I've been working with a family. We've been doing this Healthy Family Initiative to get this family to eat right. And I had to sit down with them and teach them how to make a menu for the week. And it sounds like a lot of work, and it is a little bit of work up front, but if you put down your meals, you'll know when you go shopping, what to do. And what I tell people to start out with is thinking what your plate should look like. And your plate actually should look like a quarter.
Like this.
Yeah, which most of us grew up with the protein as the main part of the meal, but now we want to think of it as half of the plate should be salad and vegetables, a quarter is protein, and a quarter is grain. So if you start out that way, so you make your menu starting from there. And we have a lot of actually great recipes and menus on FamilyCircle.com, Healthy Family, so that you can choose from that.
That is beautiful. So once you have your menu, do you need anything else to your shopping strategy?
Well, you really need, the first place you should focus on is the produce aisle, because that's where you want to have a lot of your fruits and vegetables. And, you know, adults should have 2 to 3 servings of vegetables a day and 2 to 3 fruits. So, you know, look in the produce aisle, try different things and try different ways. Like, I love to cut up bananas and freeze them. It's like ice cream that way, or grapes. And that's a really great way to get kids to eat fruit.
I was going to say, because obviously if you're going in with these menus in mind, you're probably buying a lot more produce than you would normally. So you've got to get creative. Some ways to get your kids to actually eat it.
I know the moms I've spoken to that are really successful with this, they just put it out. Like you put out the vegetables and the fruit, cut up, and ranch dressing seems to like be the trick. You know, so that they can dip it in something and they'll eat it if it's there, if it's pretty, if it's crunchy, they'll eat it.
Good point. Just put it in front of them and walk away. They're at the table, just put that down and see what happens. That's a very good point. Now, we also need to rethink our protein. Is that right? Because so many of us are accustomed, like you said, to think of a plate half full of a big steak.
And you know, definitely you want lean protein, and protein's important. So a lean piece of chicken or ground beef that's, you know, 90% fat-free. But also we're talking about more plant protein. We want people to have more protein that comes from the plant kingdom. And
this isn't just for families that have teenagers that are going vegetarian, right?
It's actually great if your kids are going that, because it's a great way to introduce some of this stuff. So for example, these veggie burgers, they're kind of like a hamburger. They taste really good like a burger. Hummus is also a form of protein. Beans, lentils, all these things work. And again, you could also go to lean protein. But, you know, this is what you're talking about. I say like the deck of cards is the size of protein you should be looking for.
Because a lot of parents do get a little confused when their kids want to switch over to, even if it's just a phase or whether it becomes a whole lifestyle.
They worry about it, but it's totally healthy as long as they're eating the right protein.
Absolutely. Now, what
peanut
about
butter is good
whole grains? I mean, so many of us are addicted to pasta, and we know how much kids love eating pasta, so it becomes an easy meal to whip up for them. Do you have any suggestions?
And again, the dietary guidelines are saying half of your carbohydrates should be coming from whole grain. There's so much stuff out there now, and there's a lot of great quick cooking stuff. Like this is a whole wheat couscous. Takes 5 minutes to cook.
I love couscous.
You mentioned a whole grain pasta, you know, so just switch out. Start switching out white rice for brown rice. And also whole grain bread. Make sure whole grain is in the ingredient list.
Does it take a little while for your kids to readjust their taste buds when it comes to the whole grain, or do they take to it right away?
Sometimes it does take a little while, and that's why there's actually this white wheat out there, so it looks white, so you can get their taste buds. Yes.
Clever.
It's totally
but
good
it tastes like wheat, even though it looks like white. Love it.
It's a little bit milder.
That's a good way of tricking them into it. Absolutely. I love all of that. Now, of course, dairy is very, very important.
And a lot of people have cut out dairy, and you really do need the calcium. But, you know, yogurt is a really great way to get in calcium.
Why are people cutting out dairy? Is there any reason
for it? You know, there's a lot of people out there that say it's not good for you, but you really do need calcium. And a lot of people are maybe lactose intolerant, and if that's the case, then look for a lactate milk or something. I love lactate milk because it's very rich and creamy. So I use it in my coffee. But yogurt is actually good, and even with people who have a lactose intolerant, they tend to tolerate this a little better. But it's also a really great creamy dessert. You could add frozen fruit to this. It's high in protein.
Delicious.
So don't forget the calcium.
I love it, and kids love it.
Yeah,
even better. Regina Ragone, thank you so much for all these great shopping tips. We're ready to hit the supermarkets now. And don't forget, you can follow us, ABC News Now, on Facebook and Twitter just by searching ABC News Now.